We didn't set out to be soap makers, or really homesteaders, or even content creators for that matter. But life has a funny way of placing opportunities before you. Some of those are no-brainers. Others seem more far-fetched. This is a story of our family chasing after one of those far-fetched dreams, starting a new business venture of selling our soap bars from the ground up and stretching ourselves to our breaking points, both physically and emotionally along the way. But it's also a story of triumph as we've pushed past the hard and are launching a completely new chapter of From Scratch Farmstead, offering a physical product for the first time and products that we're proud of. Traditional soaps that we've pioneered and cut no corners with, making them using the best ingredients on the planet. These bars have worked amazingly well for our family, and we've also heard from so many of you over the years who have made them yourselves through our tutorials and loved them. Starting a business is no small task. From the supplies, processes, and infrastructure of making the bars themselves, to labeling, packaging, and shipping them all over the country, and then all the behind the scenes of sales tax, meeting governing guidelines, and integrating a shop into our existing website and blog. And oh yeah, starting this all while maintaining what we already have going with our family, homeschooling, homesteading, and creating new content. It's been a full family affair, and we've all had our doubts along the way. But friends, it's here, and we're thrilled to be sharing our soap story with you.
We started our blog and YouTube channel in 2021, and that was one of those no-brainer opportunities for us. We were starting out on our 5-acre homestead property in northern Illinois and knew that we had some unique methods and perspectives to offer into the homesteading space. Plus, we had learned that we could actually turn this creative outlet into a family-supporting business, and through hard and consistent work, we were blessed to have successfully done so. Much of that content revolved around food, changing our diet from a standard American diet of many processed foods to, over the past decade plus now, switching to growing our own food or sourcing it locally and cooking it from scratch has changed our lives and our health in incredible ways. Most notably helping us move from struggling with infertility to now being a happy and healthy family of 7.
Yes.
Along the way, we've sought to make better lifestyle choices in other ways too, and a big one was skincare. That what we come in contact with and consume matters, not just in what we eat, but in what we put on our skin too. Long before Old Spice caught on to it, we were considering the implications of our skin being the largest organ in our body that is constantly absorbing what's applied to it. And all of those products, shampoo, conditioner, deodorant, lotions, cleaning products, soap, when those products are made with chemical and petroleum-based ingredients, you're welcoming all that toxicity into your body as well. So one at a time, we swapped. Natural shampoos and deodorants, cleaning supplies, and soaps that we felt good about our whole family being around. And of course, being committed to this from-scratch lifestyle, it was only a matter of time before we started making those products ourselves. We researched the best ingredients and tried different recipes until we had an end result that we knew was both effective but also safe and natural. Things like tallow balm, magnesium lotion, and non-nano zinc sunscreen. Then our shampoo bar, or really a shampoo and body soap bar because we use it for everything. And then our dish soap bar, which has allowed us to ditch the plastic bottles of nasty blue stuff. And as we saw the positive effects all these natural skincare products were having in our own lives and how we were able to save money long-term by making them ourselves, we were super excited to create tutorial videos and blog posts with easy step-by-step instructions on how to make them yourself, even if you've never done anything like that before. Which, as a bonus, we just finished a brand new ebook with all those tallow-based skincare recipes that we are so excited to share with you for free. There's a link to grab that in the description below. But back to soap bars. The videos for both our tallow shampoo bar and dish soap bar have been really popular, and so many of you have reached out and asked if we sell our bars. This was maybe a year and a half ago now, but after maybe the 1,000th person reached out to us, Jim came to me and said, you know, I think we have a real opportunity before us here. I don't think we should just ignore this one. We should start a soap business. And my response was, absolutely not. Our lives are already too full and our time is stretched so thin. How do you expect us to fit in an entirely new, time-intensive business into our days and our weeks? It wasn't just far-fetched, it was impossible. Yeah. Let's make soap. Yeah. Let's make soap. Yeah. All right, shampoo bars.
Welcome to our basement soap studio, as I've come to call it. Today, the whole crew is down here for a typical day of cranking out soap bars, and on the docket is 4 batches of shampoo bars and 4 batches of dish soap bars. But before we get into that, this space has been in the works for over a year now, and it's still ever evolving as our processes take shape. How's everything going down here? You may recall a teaser we put into a video about a year ago showing this space and talking about getting our soap business off the ground. This was our big goal heading into 2025 after all. And we were gung-ho, or maybe I should clarify, I was gung-ho. Joelle wasn't on board just yet. And for good reason. See, I'm the dreamer, ready to pull the trigger on a new idea at any moment without much of a plan in place. Joelle is much more practical, and she knew all that this soap-making venture would entail. So first off, it would need time to get it off the ground. We'd need the space, the infrastructure, and all the other details in place to get it going. I had a good sense of this too, and my request was 1 month. 1 month off of creating new content and other business activities to focus solely on getting the soap-making leg of our business up and running. The verdict? Nope. The world of online content creation is a hard thing to just step away from. When you slow down, so does your content, and then so does your income. With a family of 6 and a baby on the way at that point, it was really hard to justify a full month away from creating new content and all the momentum we'd lose. And just to clarify here, we don't have any plans of stepping away from YouTube and creating content. We're just going to need to figure out how to make all the pieces fit and stay manageable for our family. Yet, at this point, I was still determined. That winter, I utilized every spare bit of margin time I had to single-handedly make this soap business a reality. I started with cleaning up and organizing our whole basement, which was a complete disaster at the time, and turning that into our soap studio. It may not be the most riveting part of our home, but we took what we had and made it work. Some sawhorses with an old countertop, spare tables. Later on, I picked up a couple of old office desk surfaces that are large and solid and have been super helpful. Then we invested in supplies, more soap molds to be able to produce multiple batches at a time, along with some extra saucepans and mixing bowls. I had no clue how we were going to store our bars, but we did some research and realized that baker's racks or speed racks would be perfect. So we picked up 3 of those. And being that the bars need to open air cure for 30 days, we needed some sort of wire shelving to store them on in the racks. Looking into the options, there were stainless steel drying racks and things of that sort, but they were super expensive. So I figured out that you could take an 8-foot 1x2 piece of lumber, cut and assemble them to fit nicely on the racks, and staple hardware cloth on top for a solid wire shelf or tray. And each one came out to only about $4 a piece.
Oh yeah, fits like a glove. I think we got it. Soap bar, yeah.
Alongside this, we also needed to research and then purchase all the ingredients for the bars. We'll share more about the ingredients later, but we didn't want to compromise here on quality at all. But we also needed them to make sense cost-wise, so we were picking everything up in bulk to keep costs lower. Then, for about a month, I was down there in the soap studio most nights cranking out soap bars. Not gonna lie, it was lonely and rough. I was doing that and staying up late, night after night, on top of all the other family, homestead, and business things we had on our plate. I think we all knew this wasn't going to hold up long term. So the time investment of getting that going was the first big holdup for us. The second was that all this needed to be ongoing. Once the train was in motion, you can't just stop it. Since the soap needs 30 days to cure before selling, you need to constantly be making soap bars a month in advance to have inventory ready for the future. This was what we've come to love about content creation. It's somewhat of this evergreen model where you only need to create it once, put it out there, and posts and videos can chug on for years and keep being relevant. So why would we consider breaking from that and want to delve into a physical product that's pretty labor intensive to keep going? I'm going to let Joelle speak more to that and what finally changed her thinking to jump on board. But as was easily predicted, I eventually burnt out. I couldn't keep up the pace of working in the margins and making it happen all on my own. However, the work wasn't for nothing. We had a soap-making space, though rough, carved out in our basement. I had begun but never finished all the racks to store our soap bars on. And I was able to make a couple hundred shampoo bars and dish soap bars and work out a lot of the kinks in our soap-making processes along the way. And though not how we imagined, we did technically start selling our soaps in 2025. We were able to bring what we had to a couple live events we participated in, including the Homestead Freedom Festival down in Paris, Illinois.
Check it out.
And so for the rest of 2025, the soap business really just sat, and we weren't sure what to do with it. I still had so many doubts swirling around in my head, and with Sam joining us in October, I was already feeling like I could hardly keep up with our full world. But we kept revisiting it, and after many back and forth discussions, we decided together that starting a soap business was a worthwhile thing to pursue and that we needed to give it a shot. So heading into 2026, that was going to be our priority, and I finally was on board to give the month of January toward making it a reality. And just being really transparent, even after committing to give this a go, my practically minded type A brain has really struggled with all of it. In fact, I remember one particularly hard day, I was just done. And Jim and I were arguing about the whole thing, and he came out and said, "You know, you are the biggest barrier to us getting this thing going right now." And he was right. And I realized that if we were all going to be on board together with making this happen, my mindset had to change.
All right. Let's open these guys up. So
this time around, it needed to be a whole team effort. One of the things that really sold me on having a business involving a physical product was the idea of a family economy. So for generations, family trades and crafts were passed down from parent to child, and everyone partook in the family business. And while our kids are often in our videos, they're really not involved in the day-to-day business end of things beyond that. There are practical skills that they could enter into down the road, like writing, marketing, video editing, photography, but those things seem pretty far off for us. And soap making would give us something physical that they could jump in and help out with right away, whether that's labeling or shipping, fulfilling orders, maybe even making soap at some point. And speaking of a physical product, with our current business being almost entirely digital, we also regularly find ourselves craving the physical, producing something with our own hands that we can actually grab hold of, and making products that add value to our own lives and we know can add value to others' lives as well. So here we are, all of us in our basement working alongside each other, and maybe some just having fun. We've already finished off a batch of shampoo bars, and now we're working on a batch of dish soap bars. The way that we've figured out how to make this work is that I start the process by measuring out and melting the oils. Since my time needs to be a little bit more structured around naps and feeding babies, and Jim's time is usually more flexible, this allows me to head down in the windows where I'm free to get things going. Then Jim will head out to mix the lye and water solution so that it's mixing and cooling while the oils are cooling. And then to keep things consistent, Jim has been the one mixing and pouring into the soap molds, as well as cutting the shampoo bars when those are ready. We've been doubling the recipe from our blog post and making 2 of those at a time, so we're able to make 4 batches each time we make soap. And some days we'll do that twice, so 8 batches a day. That's really the most we'd want to try to tackle any given day. And going back to those racks and storage shelves Jim was building, he was able to jump back on those in early January, and it was quite the effort with cutting all that hardware cloth and stapling it all onto the racks, but he was able to wrap it up and they turned out amazing. He didn't necessarily plan this out, but 4 batches of either bar fits perfectly on one shelf. We have 1 full rack devoted to curing shampoo bars, then another for curing dish soap bars, and then the 3rd rack is what will fill up with our finished product bars after they've been cured, labeled, and are ready to ship out. Oh, and we also bought these nice covers for the racks, and we're really glad that we did. This way they'll stay clean and keep dust away, but the bottom part is open so there can still be airflow for curing.
When we were making these soap bars and all of our skincare products just for our family, we never compromised on the ingredients. We always sourced the highest quality ingredients we could find, and we knew we didn't want the soaps that we sold to be any different. So sourcing everything in this process is a step we took very seriously. Tallow is one of the main ingredients in our shampoo bars, and it's also in our dish soap bars. And with how popular tallow is these days, many of us know the benefits of tallow in skincare. Not only how compatible it is with human skin, but the high amount of vitamins A, D, E, K, and B12 that it offers, along with having properties that make it anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial, and can help to repair skin. And grass-fed tallow will offer the most nutrients and benefits. So we were so excited to find a local source of beautiful rendered grass-fed tallow that comes from a nearby organic farm right in our state of Illinois. And most of our other ingredients come from Azure Standard, who we've personally met the founders of before and really come to trust their sourcing of high-quality products. So we get their organic, extra virgin cold-pressed olive oil, organic expeller-pressed coconut oil, and organic castor oil. Each oil adds different beneficial properties to the bars. Our bars are also lightly scented with organic essential oils from plant therapy. We use organic lemon essential oil for the dish soap bars and organic rosemary essential oil for the shampoo bars. And then aside from those, there is the lye that we mix with filtered water from our Berkey. And through the process of saponification, that lye is totally neutralized while the bars cure for 30 days, so the final product is just soap. The lye water mixture and the oils saponify or undergo this melding reaction to form soap. And with that, one of the most common questions we get is, won't the oils from using these bars clog your drains? And thankfully, the answer is no. Everything is the right ratio that through that saponification process, you no longer have oils, or lye for that matter, just a solid bar of soap. And we've been using these bars extensively in showers and sinks for years now and have a septic tank and have had no issues with clogging. Just to mention the skincare ebook again, we'll have links in there to all the ingredients we use, as well as the supplies and equipment we use for making the bars if you're considering making them yourself. You likely have a lot of the supplies you need already in your kitchen, but some things like the soap molds are linked in there, or even like the mixing bowl set that we use for mixing lye and water and measuring out oils. They have a handle which makes it way safer to work with the lye, and they still stack inside of each other for storage, which is super helpful. So check out that link in the description to grab your copy of the ebook.
And you can totally go and check out the other videos and posts that we made that give more of a step-by-step tutorial into making these bars, as well as share some of the backstory. But just to revisit a little bit more of our why on these soap bars in particular, why we believe in them. It started with shampoo bars. I had tried what felt like every natural shampoo option under the sun, and I didn't like any of them. I'm not sure how else to put it besides my hair felt gross. It wasn't the smooth and shiny that I wanted. Then a friend gave me a shampoo bar, and it was amazing. It left my hair feeling better than it had in a long, long time. So I started researching shampoo bars and realized that I might be able to try making something myself. After a bit of experimentation, I landed on this recipe being my favorite and have been making them ever since. It's been about 8 years now. The dish soap bars came after, but I've long been someone with sensitive skin. I used to work at Starbucks about 15 years ago, and I would do the dishes there and come home with rashes on my hands and on my arms. So after making our shampoo bars for a few years, I started to wonder if we could replace our dish soap with a dish soap bar. I'd never tried one before, but I loved the idea of it. I researched the different properties of the oils and did some experimentation of recipes using a tool called soapcalc.net, and I wound up here. We've now been exclusively using these dish soap bars for around 3 years and have no plans of going back. We don't have a dishwasher, so we are hand washing a lot of dishes, and these bars do a great job cleaning without leaving any residue or streakiness, and they also leave my hands feeling great afterwards.
So exhibit A, right there, boom. So we have 2 of these. Let's slide this up to, roughly maybe
Put packing on that side.
in line, yes, and then have a little aisle here.
Beyond the bars, we've also needed to figure out lots of other details like labeling and shipping materials, how to print shipping labels and actually ship things out, integrating the Shopify sales platform that we're using into our website, creating shop and product pages on FromScratchFarmstead.com, and then even things like registering with the state for paying sales taxes. Side story on that, we were completely new to the forms we needed to fill out for paying state sales taxes on what we sold, And with the small amount of bars we did sell in 2025 at those events, we owed the state like $20 in sales taxes, and we didn't realize that until well after the fact. Then when we did try to pay them, we did it wrong. So long story short, our business ended up in collections with the state of Illinois, and they kept threatening us with a $250 fine for the $20 that we owed them in sales taxes. And it was super stressful for a couple months as we called and sought help and finally figured out how to fill out the forms right and submit our payment. No fine in the end, and we're not in collections anymore, but these are the fun behind the scenes things that come with the territory of starting a new business. There have been countless small decisions to be made along the way as we start this new business. You know from our other content that we are all about intentional living and making decisions that consider the big picture. Yes, with most everything, especially packing and shipping related, there was a cheaper plastic alternative available. But we've sought to stay true to making intentional choices that lower the impact on the environment, even when it might cost more. Most everything in our labeling and shipping can be composted or recycled. The dish soap bars are wrapped in unbleached cheesecloth that could even be reused in the kitchen. All those small decisions add up along the way, and we feel so good about not just the soap bars, but the complete package we can't wait to box up and send to your home. A huge shout out to Lisa, who helps us with some behind the scenes work. We tasked her with designing and figuring out materials and such for the labels on both bars, and she totally nailed it. We love how they look. And I also need to give a big thank you to Stacy from Cobble Hill Farm for answering my many questions along the way relating to selling soaps.
And friends, we are so excited to share that our shop on our website is now live. We'd love for you to head over and check that out at FromScratchFarmstead.com/shop, or we'll put the link in the description. Oh, and we also have From Scratch Farmstead hats available too. Thank you so much for supporting our family and the things that we do.
What we got? 27.4 ounces.
You only need one.